Hey, good morning. Today on Suzuki's V Strom 1050DE. This is the more dirt orientated. It's been updated, upgraded, so the V Twin 1050. It's a big bike, but it is a big adventure bike, so just lovely for this sort of stuff. To give you an idea, dripping wet, I think fully fueled, it's 254 kilos, which puts it right up there in adventure bike sakes. So it's got upgraded gearbox, 6-speed, which is really nice, quick shift up and down, KYB adjustable suspension for rebound and dampening, so turns in nice, 21-inch front and a 17 rear, so kind of a compromise with the serious off-road front, and then that 17 on the back. But handles really nice on this. In some ways it has sort of an old school feel, and I don't mean that unkindly, because I actually really like it. It's got wide bars, really comfy seating position. It just seems to track along really nicely. It's a really windy day today, and it sits on the road beautifully. That extra weight just gets it planted, so it's an interesting one. Now, I'd start by saying there are bikes on the market that make more horsepower. It makes 107. Then you look at, some of the new adventure bikes are getting up around the 150s. There are bikes that probably put out more torque. It's 100 Newton meters. There are bikes that are lighter, and there are bikes that have more features. But here's the kicker. This thing, at the moment in Australia, $22,000 right away. There is nothing that is close to that in terms of, the amount of bike you're getting, the bang for your buck, the performance, and the Suzuki reliability. You know that this thing is going to run for a very long time. That motor's not working hard. They're not getting every little bit out of that. So it's going to be totally reliable going forward. And 22 grand, there's a lot of mid-range adventure bikes now costing you more than that. It might be that this is the best big adventure bike bargain buy in Australia. That's a mouthful. The finish on it is really beautiful. The TFT dash, really nice, easy to use. Great switches, like really great for off-road. Big chunky blocks, and cruise control standard. As I said before, quick shift standard. Really nice anodized type finish. It's impressive. Now look, power-wise, it pulls hard when you're doing that. Quick shift's beautiful. It really stops along. And part of it, you got to ask yourself, do you need any more performance than that from a big adventure bike? Some people will like it. It's going to be way more grunt on the gravel than you're ever going to use. It has got the multi-modes with, ABS settings, engine mapping settings, traction control settings, so you can play around to your heart's desire. It'd be a really nice bike for long touring. It's got the bracket straight on the back for your panniers to clip on. Comes with a really good stone guard, nice decent chunky aluminium. It's going to take a bit of a hit, so you're not going to spend a lot of money on this. If I was doing a lot of off-road, again, probably going, a set of bar risers. For me, I probably want about 20 mil just to make that nice and comfy when I'm standing up. But I really like the bars themselves, are awesome, really nice and wide, so you're going to have some great low-speed control. First gear, when you are just putting around, it's really forgiving. You feel like, you could get it almost down to a stall. Fuel tank, so a few of the specs, as I said before, 107 horsepower, 100 Newton meters, about 170 millimeters of travel front and rear. Fuel tank's 20 litres, so that'll give you a good distance. 5-inch TFT dash up front. It's amazing, seems like amazing value for money. And the finish on it, really nice. They come in 3 colours. I'll put the photos up, but so this is the yellow, which I think is probably the standout one, to be quite honest. They've got a blue and white, which looks very old school. It's kind of cool. And then sort of an all black, which I think is probably a popular choice. If there's drawbacks to the 1050, it's going to be its bulk and its low speed. Particularly if you are a shorter person you're going to feel that, the weight of it. You know, it is fairly hefty, but when you're doing this sort of stuff, just rolling along, it's fantastic. It's an old school feel, but it's really nice. I've been riding it now for a couple of weeks, and the more I ride it, the more I like it. It's one of those bikes that, you know, when you look at it on paper, you think, oh, I don't know if this will be that much fun. And yet when you actually ride it in reality, it's a whole lot of fun. You know, the power's just nice and linear. It handles nicely. The suspension's really nice. The ergonomics are perfect on it. Good job, Suzuki. And you know, if you're out on a day like today cruising on it, gee, what a lot of fun, eh? And it's a good looking bike. You know, it really looks good on the road. Yeah, so on the gravel, the Suzuki ride's really nice. Tracks well. You know, it could do with a set of series tyres if you were going to do a lot of stuff. But, you know, this sort of little fire trail, and that's fine. You know. Got more than enough power for all that, you know. It's good. Suspension works well on the gravel. Yeah, Suzuki done a really nice job on the new V Strom. I like the finish of it. Looks really good in the flesh. So have a close look up. You know, some of the details, when you look at like the casing details and whatnot, they're really well done, really nicely finished. The front, you know, it's a fairly standard brake setup, but boy, it works good. That pulls up, you know, as good as anything I've seen in the adventure bike world. You know, I've been on some really big, nice toys. And then, yeah, kind of all this really nice finish, you know. Done a great job on the seat, that nice blue. And just little details, I'll come around and show you. You know, where they've gone to the trouble of, you know, like embossing that V Strom on the seat. Got a really great carrier there. So twin handle, perfect for, you know, if you're carrying two up on the bike. Get a bit of luggage, grab handles for your passenger. Done some really nice simple stuff. You know, you've got your adjustment there for your rear suspension. Put a bit of preload on it, make it softer or harder. You've got some really nice little drop bars on both sides. So if you do have a moment, you know, you're not going to damage engine casings and things. And they've got that, I think I mentioned that, got that nice aluminium sump guard there. So, you know, it's not super tough, but for a standard bike, it's pretty good. Switch gears all very standard, you know, go through your modes, cruise control, resume and set and whatnot's that side with your light switches and stuff. Then over this side, got your cruise control on, off, and pretty much start and hazards. So really simple, but again, nicely finished here, anodized, you know, it all kind of matches up. Done a good job, fuel tank, you know, it's a good look from behind. So it's a bike that gets under your skin, that yeah, the sum of the whole is better than the parts. You know, it kind of on paper looks like it should be, you know, just transport and, you know, ultra reliable, but it's a fun bike. You know, you can really enjoy it. It's got enough power to make it really good fun. The handling's lovely, like really nice. The brakes, I got to say, are fantastic. I would reckon as good as any adventure bike I've ridden. Really good brakes on it. And yeah, it's a heavier bike, but you know, once you get it tipped in and like that, just that motor loves to pull there. Great mid-range torque. It's a little bit vibey, but it's a V-twin. You know, but the brakes just phenomenal. And it's happy to, you know, what's that? Just trundle out of a corner, absolutely pull away. Yeah, it's just one of those bikes. I've had a few over the years, and you know, you look at it and go, I don't know what it is about them that you really enjoy, because there's no one thing you can put your finger on. But yeah, to be a fun bike just to go away touring on, you know, it's probably a bit on the big side for me to think about as a commute bike. You know, if you're a really big bloke, then you would. Just a bit heavier in traffic and heavier when you stop start, you know, trying to make tight turns in cities or weave through traffic. But it's got the lovely wide bars, which I love for off-road riding and for this sort of riding. The wind protection's excellent. The screen at the moment's at its lowest setting, but it's missing, going right over the top of me by about 50-75 mil. So, you know, if it was right up, you'd have amazing protection. So yeah, to take this away, you know, for multiple days, you know, where you're racking up pretty decent miles, carrying a bit of luggage, maybe got someone on the back, oh, it'd be so much fun. It just chugs along, you whack it in like this, 6, sitting on, you know, the speed limit, 100 k's or whatever, put on the cruise control, and it's just going to sit there and idle away. And it's been pretty good on fuel as well. So again, I suppose you're not trying to extract the most amount of power, so you're not using the most amount of fuel. If it's a bike that you want to go and do a bit of traveling on, rack up some decent miles, but you want uber reliability, it looks really nice, the finish and fit is really great on it, then I'd seriously consider it. The challenge, I'd say, is don't take it for a 5 or 10 minute ride around the block at the dealership. You want to get this thing out and make sure they let you take it for a good half an hour or 45 minutes or longer, because that's when you start to appreciate it. If you're just weaving through a bit of traffic near your local dealer, you're going to go, oh, I'm not sure. But you ride out in some of these roads, you're going to say, geez, this thing is nice. So in summary, you go $22,000 under that at the moment right away for a big adventure bike that will, you know, do 90% of everything in this country. You know, it's going to eat gravel roads, bitumen roads, long days. It's going to be comfortable, and it's going to, you know, just keep going and going and going. Cheap to buy parts for, all those things. Great dealer network around Australia. Yeah, I think it seriously should be on your shopping list to at least get out and have a ride of it. And want to say a huge thanks to Suzuki Australia for loaning me the bike. I've had it for a few weeks and yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. So I'm going to be a bit loath to give it back. I think it's due to go back next week and I'm kind of enjoying it too much. So hey, thanks again for tuning in. Hopefully some of that's helpful. It's just my honest opinion of what I reckon of bikes, and I'm probably like you, I love getting out there and riding them. So yeah, I appreciate you watching, and got a whole bunch of stuff. It's summer here now, so good time of year for me to get out and test a few different bikes. So lots coming your way over the next 2 or 3 months. So hey, thanks for tuning in, really appreciate it. Get out there and ride, have a great time. Thanks guys.